All right, for Valentine's, we are going to make a Valentine's project, but there's no sense in doing a project if we don't learn something. So, everybody today is going to be working in Photoshop, and we are going to actually do an animation. Okay, so it should look something similar to this. Of course, you'll be much more creative. All right, first thing you need to do, open up Photoshop and go ahead and create a new file. You can make it any size that you like. I just did 7 by 7 inches, and I did 72 resolution, which that's what yours needs to be because this is for the screen, not to be printed. All right, so create yourself a new file. First thing to do is put a nice background on it. I already have chosen a couple of colors that I like, and I'm going to make a gradient. And you can make any type of gradient that you like. I think a radial would look good. All right, background is all set. Next thing I need to do is type some text. So I'm going to grab my text tool. Any kind of Valentine's message will work. Make that a little bigger. All right. Next thing is to go grab some sort of an image that you want to use. I have a cute little bear right here, and I'm just going to bring my bear over. Bear is big. Okay, so get that size right on your canvas. Okay, so I have my 3 basic things that I need to get started. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is start to set up some different positions for each of these. Okay, let me start with the text layer. Okay, so I like the original position, but I'm also going to duplicate this layer. And this is going to be my second position for my text. So I'm going to type the name so that it makes sense, text 2, because it's my second position. As a matter of fact, I want to rename this one text 1, because that's my original position. All right, and on text 2, the only thing I want to do is just sort of warp it a little bit. So I'll go back to my text tool, go to the warp text, and pick a shape. I like the flag. All right, that looks good. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to duplicate my text layer again. And this is going to be my third part of my animation. Keep everything in order here. And so this one I'm going to warp as well, except I'm going to do the flag again, except I'll just go the opposite direction. Instead of plus 50, I'll go minus 50. All right, so if I look at each of my text layers, there's the original, there's the first warp, and there's the second. Okay, so my text layers are ready, and I'm going to take those and I'm going to group those. And that's going to be my text group. It's super important to keep everything organized, especially when you're doing animations. All right, I've got all those hidden so they're not in the way. And the next thing I want to do is animate my bear. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate the layer. And I'm going to call this one Bear 2. All right, and this one I'm going to change to Bear 1. Original position for Bear 1. Bear 2, I'm going to go in and animate. How am I going to do that? Well, the easiest thing to do as far as animating the bear is, of course, the puppet warp. All right, so puppet warp, remember you need to place pins at the joints, which would basically be the neck, the arms, the legs, and then you can start moving. And let's say that I want my bear to maybe bob its head to the left and tap its foot a little bit. All right, so there's position 2. Hit the check mark. And I'm going to start back at my original when I animate from my other direction because I don't want something that's been distorted. So I'm going to duplicate that layer. And this is going to be Bear 3. Keep them in order. All right, Bear 3, when I take and puppet warp, I'm just going to do the same thing, drop a few pins, except I'm going to go the opposite direction, and I'm going to do the opposite foot. Alright, so I've got all my bear positions. I'm going to highlight all three of those and drop them into a folder. And that folder is called my bear. Alright, so I've got my text, I've got my bear. The last thing that we need to add is a shape that floats across the screen. Okay, and so we're going to go to the custom shape tool and come up here to your bar and be sure that you have shape layer chosen. You can choose any sort of fill color that you like. I'm going to do red, and you can choose a stroke color. I'm using black, and you pick a shape. Now luckily there's hearts already in here. There's different types of hearts, so you can choose whatever you like. I think I'll take this one. Alright, and I want this to look like it's floating across the screen. I'm going to come down here on my background layer. It's going to make its own layer, so it doesn't matter where I am, but this is where I want the shapes to be located. Alright, so there's my first one, second one, third one, and I'm going to do a fourth just because I can. Alright, those are kind of behind my bear, and that's okay. So I'm going to take these layers and group them. And these are my hearts. Okay, now I want to pretty things up a little bit. I never, ever, ever leave text where it's just plain old text. You can always make text look better. Alright, so what I'm going to do is pull up the effects, pull up my blending options, and I almost always like a bevel and emboss. You can tell how that's already looking 3D-ish. And add a little bit of drop shadow. Don't like that drop shadow. Oh, I have to click on the words drop shadow to change things. And I want full opacity, but I want the size. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. Once I get things like I like them, I don't have to do that again on the other text layers. All I have to do is hold my Option key down and drag and drop those effects to the other text layers. So now all of the text layers have that. What did I do to this? Oh, I reduced the opacity. There we go. Gotcha. Alright, so my text layers are all good and ready to go. Let me do something to the bear layers. At least add a drop shadow. That would be nice. Okay, and as you can see, that drop shadow is pretty hard. So I think what I'll do is soften that up a bit. Spread maybe a little bit. Size. There we go. Alright, and then I'll copy that again to the other layers. Option, click and drag. Alright, bear's all set. And then the last part is to do something with the hearts. Not quite sure what I want to do to the hearts. Probably bevel and emboss. Give it a little 3D-ish look. And a drop shadow. Oh, looks pretty decent. Alright, so put that on all of my layers. Oops. Thank goodness for Command Z. Alright, I think my layers are ready and raring to go. And we are ready to start animation. Okay, go ahead before you begin your animation. Go ahead and set your layers up. Make visible the ones that you want to show on the very first part of the animation. So I want my normal text, and I want my hearts to look like they're floating up on the screen. So I'm going to hide all of my hearts except one. I'm going to hide all of my bears except one, and I'm going to have my original text showing. All right, so I'm ready to start animation. The way you do that is you click Window and go down to Timeline. And I'm just going to do a simple frame animation. The only thing that limits you to is that you cannot do music with a frame animation. So if you want to do a video animation, you will just need to pull up instead of clicking frame, you would change that to video. And you can flip-flop back and forth. There's a button right here that says change this to a video timeline. So if you accidentally choose one or the other, you can go back and forth. Okay, but frame is the easiest. All right, so the first thing you do is you get your frame looking exactly like you want. You tell it how long this animation is going to stick around. I'd say a 0.2 sounds good. And I'm going to loop it forever, so I'm going to change that to forever. And then from this point on, all you do is duplicate the frame using this little button here. And then you choose which layers you want to show on this second frame. Okay, so I want my second heart to show. I want my second text to show, and this one's going to hide. And then I want my bear to change to that one. Okay, and then same process, duplicate, select the layers that you want. I'm going to have that heart. I'm going to switch back to normal text. I'm going to have him bebop back to the middle. Okay, and then duplicate, and then choose my last heart, this text, and my beboppity to the right bear. All right, let me play this and see how it looks. That looks good. That looks really good. I think the only thing I'm going to do is switch back over here to this very first one. No, that looks okay. That looks good. I'm happy with that. All right, so save this, Command S. I'm going to call it Valentines and put in your thaw space. Okay, so we need to save our .psd file. If we don't, we can never go back and edit anything. We would have to start from scratch. All right, the next thing we're going to do is export. Sorry, not export. We're going to save for web. Where's that? There it is. Save for web. And all of your defaults should be fine. This is going to be an animation. And everything should be fine. I'm just going to click save. It'll give it the same name except it'll add the .gif. All right, and now when I go look at my animation, which I saved in my thaw space, there's my Valentines. Where did I save my GIF? Let me go look. Let me just export again. Okay, so in my AM. All right, so now when I go look, I should be able to click on that and play it. Go put that, you can email this to anyone. You can send it to your phone, and then you can share that to your significant other, or you can just post it on your website. So hope you had fun and hope you learned something.